smooth. Revelation, keep it wise. From late night thoughts to the vibes you heard. We break it down slow, let it drift, word by word. You got questions, we got time. Little bit of truth with a mellow vibe. Turn that dial lock in instead. We taking that ride far away. Jey Morales, unbound. Now lift your mind around. From the deep, slow clouds to the left side line. Jey Morales, unbound. Where the chill vibes all get found. You can't stop that sound when it float around. Smoke curl, room feel right. Taking his own, rolling through the night. Side-eye theories, dreams in the air. Revelation, break it down, clear and fair. Little bit of wisdom, little bit of crown. We can lift you up, we can mellow you down. Turn that chair to your favorite place. At the top, unlong, let it drift, no reason. Jey Morales, unbound. Gonna lift your mind around. Yeah. From the deep, slow clouds to the left side loud. Jey Morales, unbound. Where the chill vibes all get found. Oh, you can't stop that sound. Oh, and it float around. Come on, hey. From the couch to the stars, you'd feel that spark. Yeah, that stars. From the doubts to your dreams, we use between more than that dust. Jey Morales, unbound. Gonna lift your mind around. Oh, from the deep, slow clouds to the last all loud. Jey Morales, unbound. With the chill vibe, I'll get found. Oh, you can't stop that sound. Oh, and it float around. Revelation.
420.
You can't stop that sound when it float around.
420.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unbound, episode 20, season 2, ladies and gentlemen. The show where we go beyond the headlines, connect the global threats, and break down the stories shaping the world in real time as they unfold. I'm Jey Morales, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Revelation. How we doing, Rev?
Good. Just getting ready for the weather to warm up. Still fluctuating. Apparently, it's 420. Everyone is partaking in the smoking of the devil's lettuce, as the old people would say.
The devil's lettuce, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight we're smoking on electronic cannabis, I guess you could say. But we're not gonna, this is not a show about marijuana. This is just a celebration of today. So happy 420 to all of you out there today. Be safe. Do not drive and smoke, or smoke and drive. And be safe out there, and make sure that you always get dispensary marijuana, specifically cannabis, where you can get it from locally grown farmers. Make sure that you get locally grown farmers, not, corporation
You don't
marijuana.
want to be. Yeah, you don't want to be getting it from that shady doo on the side of the street corner.
No, you never know if it has, if it's laced with something, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. But again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jey Morales, and welcome back to our show. And again, happy 420. Tonight is one of those episodes where the scale of what's happening feels global in every sense, where conflict, market, juice, science, tragedy, and culture are all moving at once. And each story reflects a different pressure point in a world that doesn't seem to slow down. We begin with the Iran War Daily Chronicles, here how we call it in our show, covering the period from April 14th to April 20th today, where escalating tensions, military positioning, and diplomatic breakdowns continue to define a conflict that is no longer contained within regional borders. With global attention locked onto strategic waterways and defense posturing intensifying, the situation continues to shape not just security policy, but global stability itself. From there, we move directly into the economic ripple effects, oil markets on the edge as the Hormuz risk premium returns. On April 20th, crude prices remain highly sensitive to geopolitical developments, with the Strait of Hormuz once again acting as central pressure point of global energy flow. Traders, governments, and consumers alike are all reacting in real time to the possibility that supply disruption could reshape inflation and energy costs worldwide. We then shift into a major legal cultural story in the United States, the D4VD murder case involving Celeste Rivas Hernandez, where a rising music figure now faces first-degree murder charges in a case that has developed over multiple years and continues to raise questions about evidence, timelines, and public perception in high-profile criminal proceedings. After that, we move into another deeply serious and widely reported incident, a fatal police shooting in Omaha, Nebraska, following an alleged attempted child abduction inside a Walmart. The case has sparked national attention as investigators review body camera footage and witness accounts, while communities grapple with questions about crisis response, use of force, and public safety in everyday spaces. We then turn to Oklahoma, where high school principal actions during a school shooting have drawn widespread attention after he reportedly tackled an armed man while being shot in the leg, helping to prevent further casualties as investigations continue. The story has become focal point for conversations about school safety, emergency response, and moments of intervention under extreme pressure. From there, we stepped into one of the most debated developments in modern medicine and policy, Obergain, in its fast-tracked status under Trump executive order, pushing a once underground psychedelic compound into mainstream federal research. What was once a niche treatment in experimental addiction clinics is now part of a national conversation about whether psychedelic medicine can change the future of mental health care in the United States. And finally, we close with the world of entertainment and spectacle, WrestleMania 42, a two-night event out of Las Vegas that delivered championship changes, shocking returns, and major event moments, while also sparking criticism over increasing I can't speak right now. Commercialization and the growing presence of advertising within the biggest stage of professional wrestling. From war and oil markets to legal battles, public safety crises, experimental medicine, and global entertainment, tonight's episode is a snapshot of a world moving multiple timelines at once. And now we break it all down. But first, I would like to start with, if I have it here, it looks like docket team has failed me again. Nothing new around here. Revelation, nothing new. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Docket
things.
team is always,
That's the things that happen around here.
Up.
Let's see, docket team. Where is it? Do you guys know where you put it? No. Well, come on. We need it. We need it right now. The show just started. Dude, where is it? You need to tell me where it is. Because I'm not. Ah, there we go. Thank you, docket team. We appreciate you. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to begin with a quick history on 420, just because it's 420 today, Revelation, you know. The history behind April 20th and the rise of cannabis culture. We're going to take in an Unbound history special today, ladies and gentlemen. April 20th, commonly written as 420, has become globally recognized as a symbol of cannabis culture, but its origins are far less simple than the modern celebration it inspires today. What began a small coded meeting time among a group of California high school students in the early 1970s eventually evolved into an international cultural reference tied to marijuana advocacy, legalization movements, and countercultural identity. The story traces back to San Rafael High School in California, where a group of students known as the Waldos reportedly used the term 420 as a secret code for meeting at 4:20 p.m. after school to search for an abandoned cannabis crop they had heard about. While the search itself never led to the mythical hidden plant, the code 420 stuck among the group and gradually spread through social circles connected to the Grateful Dead music scene. Over time, 420 moved beyond a private code and entered broader counterculture language, particularly through fans and followers of the Grateful Dead who helped popularize the term during concerts and gatherings throughout the 1970s and 1980s. As cannabis culture expanded across the United States, the number became increasingly associated with marijuana use itself. The transformation of April 20th into a symbolic date came later. By the 1990s, 4:20 p.m. on April 20th evolved into an unofficial holiday for cannabis users, activists, and supporters of legalization itself. Public gatherings, protests, and festivals began forming on that date in cities across the United States, particularly in places like San Francisco and later Denver, where cannabis policy reform movements were gaining momentum. As legalization spread across multiple U.S. states and other countries in the 2000s and 2010s, April 20th became more mainstream. What was once an underground reference turned into a widely recognized cultural event, often marked by large public gatherings, music festivals, educational events about cannabis policy, and debates over regulation, medical use, and economic impact. At the same time, 420 has also been commercialized. Cannabis companies, dispensaries, and media outlets now use April 20th as a major marketing moment, reflecting the shift from counterculture symbolism to a legal industry milestone in regions where marijuana has been legalized. Despite its mainstream presence today, 420 still carries its original identity as a symbol of cannabis community and advocacy. For some, it represents celebration, cultural identity. For others, it reflects ongoing debates about drug policy, public health, and regulation. What began as a coded high school meeting time has now become a global cultural reference point, marking one of the most recognizable unofficial holidays in modern history. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we end our any history in any conversation with our ending discussing questions. How did a small local code between students evolve into a global cultural phenomenon? How does commercialization of 420 weaken its original meaning or strengthen cannabis normalization? How should government balance cannabis legalization with public health and social concerns as a culture continues to grow? You know what? The government can't stay away from it because everything is sponsored by tobacco and alcohol anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, happy 420. That was your little, little history of 420. And if you didn't spark at 420, 420 doesn't end for another half hour. It is 11:30 right now. So make sure that if you haven't sparked up, spark up now and enjoy the rest of our show. We are 420 friendly here. Now, Revelation, we're finally going to dive into our main storylines of today in the week that have passed. We're going to move right into Iran Daily Chronicle from April 14th to the 20th today. We're going to start right here on April 14th. And real quick, before I forget, Revelation, this show is always brought to you in part by the Caville Hotel and Tavern, located down in Klein-Felchersville, Pennsylvania. They're located at 2647 Heidelberg Avenue in Klein-Felchersville, Pennsylvania. They're open from Wednesday to Sunday, 4 to 9, Wednesday to Thursday, 4 to 10 Friday, 12 to 10 Saturday, and 12 to 8 Sunday. You can contact them at 717-949-8413, and make sure to ask for Seth or Jamie. They're the owners of the Caville Hotel and Tavern. If you have any questions about reservation or anything else, make sure to contact them again at 717-949-8413, and or visit them at the Caville Hotel and Tavern in Klein-Felchersville, Pennsylvania. As always, also, Atlas Epoxy Floors is also a main sponsor of this show as well, ladies and gentlemen, or one of our sponsors. The main sponsor is coming up, actually. Atlas Epoxy Floors, located down in Milford, Connecticut. Their phone number is 203-496-6386, or you can contact Bradford Kelly at brad.kelly@atlasepoxyfloors.com. On is via email. They do garages, basements, patios, lobbies, countertops, you name it, ladies and gentlemen. They'll do it. Contact Bradford Kelly at 203-496-6386, or you can also visit his website at www.atlasepoxyfloors.com. And Brad is the CEO and owner of this Atlas Epoxy Floors. So if you have any questions, you'll know the straight answer from our good friend Bradford Kelly. Velocity Modern Classics is the official sponsor of this show, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to contact them at 850-466-1810 for any questions and anything that they are building right now, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that they just built a Ford Bronco for one of the Kardashians. I forgot the dude's name. Next time I'll be more ready for you guys, and I'll have it up on the next following show Friday to have it ready for you. They're located down, though, in 15 East Quintet Road in Cantonment, Florida, 32533. Sorry about that. You can also visit them at velocityrestorations.com. For more information, just follow the FAQ, and it tells you more on what they do and what they work on. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can contact them from Monday to Friday, 8 to 6 p.m. at 850-466-1810. Yeah, they be working on some great stuff, so go check them out. We also would like to mention our other friend from another podcast, Producer Mike. On their Producer Mike Presents channel. Producer Mike Presents in the Jessup Show Legacy is a show where we come and hang out with you guys, the public, the people who like to actually smoke on cannabis, the people who like to hang out and shoot the shit. Come check us out on the Producer Mike Presents channel. We're live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. There's also a secondary show that comes live every Thursday or Friday. I'm sorry, Producer Mike, if I'm butchering it. But Friday or Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, look it up on his channel, Producer Mike Presents The Retreat with the Colonel and JP8. Make sure to check them out. They go live about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe. Go ahead and check them out. Yeah, it's a lot about talks about veterans and support and what they went through in their own careers. JP was involved in the Air Force, I believe. I'm sorry, JP, if I'm butchering that. And the Colonel was from the Army. So make sure that you check them out on there, the Producer Mike Presents channel. A lot of new shows popping up left and right. So make sure to tune in and check them out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're finally going to move along here. On April 14th, marked the first full operational day of the United States' expanded naval blockade against Iranian ports, a move that immediately reshaped the tempo of the conflict. The Strait of Hormuz remained the central pressure point, with commercial shipping patterns fragmenting as vessels attempted to navigate between enforcement zones and Iranian coastal defenses. CENTCOM confirmed that no large-scale breaches of the blockade occurred overnight, though several ships tested the perimeter by shifting routes through Oman Omani waters are temporarily disabling tracking systems. Maritime analysts describe the situation as a controlled chaos, with tankers traffic no longer following predictable lanes and insurance premiums for Gulf shipping reaching records high. Inside Iran, the government framed the blockade as an act of economic warfare rather than conventional military pressure. State media emphasized resilience messaging while acknowledging disruptions in oil export flows that were already tightening domestic revenue streams. Satellite tracking reports indicated dozens of oil landed tankers, whether either idling near ports like Karg Island or attempting covert departures under suppressed AIS signals. Diplomatically, Iran signaled conditional openness to continue negotiations mediated by Pakistan, but internal divisions were already visible between civilian diplomatic channels and hardline security institutions. On the U.S. side, officials maintained that the blockade would remain until full-time maritime compliance was achieved, further hardening position on both sides. By April 15th, the economic consequences of the blockade have begun to materialize in global markets. Oil prices surged further as traders priced in sustained disruption through the Strait of Hormuz, which normally carries a significant portion of global crude exports. Iranian exports capacity continued to decline, not solely due to naval restrictions, but also because of the tightening sanctions enforcing that eliminated previously available exports exemptions. Reports indicated that several shipping firms had begun rerouting vessels away from the Persian Gulf entirely, effectively isolating Iranian maritime trade. Within Iran, fuel distribution systems in major urban centers began showing early signs of strain. Through the government attempted to suppress visibility of shortages, public messaging emphasized national endurance and historical resistance to sanction pressure. Military activity remained limited compared to earlier phases of the war, but intelligence assessments suggested increased Iranian missile unit readiness along coastal zones, particularly in response to fear of a broader naval escalation. U.S. forces maintained surveillance operations but avoided direct engagements, focusing instead of on containment and interdiction. Now, April 16 was defined by diplomatic stagnation. Talks hosted in Islamabad. I'm sorry if I'm not saying it right. Islamabad failed to produce substantive progress, with both sides remaining locked on irreconcilable preconditions. The United States insisted that maritime access restrictions remain in place until Iranian compliance with nuclear and military demands could be verified, while Iran demanded an immediate easing of blockade as a condition for further negotiation. The breakdown of dialogue had immediate consequences in regional politics. Pakistan, acting as mediator, increased security around diplomatic sites in anticipation of renewed talks of potential fallout. China and several European states issued calls for restraint, warning that continued escalation could destabilize global energy markets for months. On the military front, the blockade remained intact and enforcement patterns became more systematic. Sorry for saying that. Give me a second. Naval patrols expanded the interception zone slightly deeper onto international waters, increasing the psychological pressure on commercial operators. Iran responded by reinforcing coastal defense systems and increasing surveillance of foreign vessels passing near its territorial waters. Despite the diplomatic collapse, neither side formally exited the ceasefire framework, leaving the situation in a tense state of suspended escalation. By April 17th, internal pressures within Iran became more visible. Economic disruption was no longer confined to export infrastructure, but it had begun affecting import logistic as well. Reports suggested delays in pharmaceutical and industrial supply chains, contributing to growing concerns among economic planners. Politically, the Iranian leadership faced increasing difficulty maintaining unified messaging. Civilian officials continue to emphasize negotiation pathways, while military linked institutions lean towards a longer confrontation strategy. This divergence created a noticeable inconsistency in official statements regarding the blockade and potential retaliatory measures. In the broader region, Gulf states increased maritime monitoring and coordinated more closely with U.S. naval forces. Shipping companies operating in the region began implementing contingency protocols, including reduced sailing and convoy styles transit patterns through high risk waters. No major kinetic strikes occurred on this day, but intelligence agency reported elevated electronic warfare activity in the Strait of Hormuz, suggesting preparations for potential escalation scenarios. One moment, please. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, so we're going to move now for April 18th, represented a turning point towards strategic stagnation. The blockade remained effective, but neither side demonstrated willingness to escalate into a full-scale naval confrontation. Instead, the conflict entered a phase of characterized by pressure accumulation rather than direct engagement. Iranian exports through maritime routes had largely stalled, forcing increased reliance on covert logistic networks and overland smuggling corridors. However, these alternatives were insufficient to offset the revenue losses from disrupted oil shipments. The United States, while maintaining military pressure, began facing domestic policy scrutiny over the duration and cost of the campaign. International humanitarian organization warned of broader regional economic consequences if shipping instability persisted, particularly regarding food and energy imports in neighboring states. Diplomatic back channels reportedly remain active, but no formal breakthrough emerged. The war had effectively transitioned into a sustained blockade and resistance dynamic. By April 19th, global economic effects became more pronounced. Energy markets experienced continued volatility as traders reacted to uncertainty over the duration of the blockade and the possibility of renewed conflict escalation. Insurance costs for maritime transport through the Persian Gulf reached unprecedented levels, effectively pricing out smaller ship operators. Several multinational energy firms began revising long-term procurement strategies, anticipating prolonged instability. Inside Iran, economic messaging shifted towards long-term endurance framing, with officials emphasizing self-sufficiency and alternative trade partnerships. However, international economic reports suggested growing fiscal strain due to declining export revenue and limited foreign currency inflows. Military posture remained defensive, but analysts noted increased signaling activity from coastal missile systems, interpreted as deterrence rather than preparation for immediate action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, April 20th, unfolded as the most consequential day of the week, not because of a single dramatic military event, but because the entire framework holding the conflict in its current managed state began to visibly weaken. The temporary ceasefire arrangement that had structured negotiations since early April was now in its final hours, and the uncertainty surrounding whether it would be extended, restructured, or allowed to expire became the dominant force shaping both political and military behavior. From the early morning, diplomatic channels were unusually active. Reports from Islamabad indicated that mediators were attempting to assemble what was described as last window arrangement, a short-term extension designed less to resolve core disputes and more to prevent immediate escalation, while talks continued. However, neither Washington nor Tehran appeared willing to make the symbolic concessions needed to reset trust. The United States maintained that the maritime blockade in the Persian Gulf was non-negotiable until verified compliance mechanisms were established, while Iran insisted that any continuation of talks required at least partial easing of shipping restrictions that were now directly constraining its export survival. Uh, wow, it's so much happening, ladies and gentlemen. I get speechless sometimes when we go through these things. On the ground, more accurately at sea, the enforcement of the blockade remained steady, but noticeably more sensitive. U.S. naval forces continued intercept and tracking operations around the Strait of Hormuz. But the posture shifted subtly towards avoidance of direct confrontation unless absolutely necessary. Intelligence observers noted a pattern of predictive spacing where coalition vessels adjusted positioning earlier than in the previous days, anticipating Iranian patrol movements rather than reacting to them. This reflected a broader attempt to prevent a single miscalculation from triggering a wider escalation during the fragile diplomatic window. Iran, for its part, appeared to adopt a dual-track posture throughout the day. Public-facing statements from government channels emphasized defiance and sovereignty, reiterating that the country would not accept economic encirclement as a substitute for negotiation. At the same time, internal messaging reportedly circulated within economic ministries acknowledged the severity of shipping disruption, particularly the compound effect on oil revenue flows and foreign exchange stability. Tanker movement data suggested that while a small number of export attempts were still being made, most major shipments remained delayed, rerouted, or suspended entirely due to insurance and interception risks. By midday, attention shifted to the possibility of maritime incident that never fully materialized but still reshaped perception of risk. Multiple commercial vessels in the Central Gulf altered course abruptly after receiving advisories related to the unidentified radar activity in proximity to Iranian coastal defensive zones. No confirmed engagement occurred, but the incident reinforced how quickly routine navigation had degraded into a high alert environment where perception alone could disrupt global shipping lanes. Diplomatically, the most significant development of the day came not from formal negotiations, but from signaling behavior. U.S. officials publicly reiterated that all options remain on the table if maritime stability collapses, a phrase widely interpreted as a maintaining escalation credibility without announcing new operational steps. Iran responded through state-aligned messaging, emphasizing that continued blockade enforcement beyond the ceasefire window would be treated as a structural escalation. Language deliberately ambiguous but clearly intended to broaden the scope of a potential response of options without committing the immediate retaliation. Behind closed doors, mediators reportedly explored the idea of a phased de-escalation framework rather than a binary extension of the ceasefire. This would involve incremental adjustments to inspections regimes and shipping allowances rather than a full lifting of restrictions. However, the lack of mutual trust made even technical proposals politically sensitive. Each side interpreted partial concessions through the lens of strategic weakness, not compromise. And that's how they have it like that. As evening approached, global markets reacted to the uncertainty with heightened volatility. Oil prices remained elevated, but more notable was the increase in short-term speculative trading. Trading is what I said, reflecting expectation of either a sudden diplomatic breakthrough or a rapid return to open confrontation. Shipping insurers continue to tightening coverage terms for vessels transiting in the Strait of Hormuz, effectively reinforcing a parallel economic blockade regardless of military outcomes. By nightfall, the situations had not resolved into either escalation or extension, but instead into a narrow corridor. I'm hoping I'm saying that corridor of uncertainty. The ceasefire clock continues to tick, but the mechanism meant to replace it or extend it were not yet aligned. Military forces on both sides remained in heightened readiness without crossing into an active engagement, creating a tense equilibrium defined more by restraint than resolution. The defining feature of April 20th ultimately was not action but proximity. The proximity of diplomacy or to failure, or of military posturing to misinterpretation, and of economic pressure to the systemic breakdown. Unlike earlier days in the week where patterns were still forming, this day suggested that structure holding the conflict in its place or in its current phase was no longer stable, only temporarily sustained. Now, ladies and gentlemen, out of the whole Iran Chronicle, we're now going to hit you with the ending discussing questions about it. And I want you to comment and leave us, your answer down in the chat. If the blockade continues without a negotiated settlement, does economic pressure alone realistically force diplomatic compromise in a conflict of this scale? At what point does a ceasefire under enforcement pressure stop functioning as a ceasefire and become a form of active warfare? Could third-party mediators like Pakistan or China meaningfully alter the trajectory of this conflict? Or are they structurally limited by U.S.-Iran strategic demands? Well, you know who can answer these questions right now for me? It's a good friend, Revelation.
See, the last time I heard was that the whole entire person that is dealing with this is the Iranian foreign minister kind of person. Like foreign ministers always are dealing with for every nation they always go represent their nation, deal with trade talks, all sorts of that kind of crap. Well, Iran's foreign minister is the one, trying to smooth things over, all of that. Well, I want to say yesterday or today, they fired a missile over I forget what kind of ship. I don't know whether it was a Pakistani ship or what, in the Strait of Hormuz. And as these talks were going on, and it was the IRGC that did that, and then proceeded to, over open maritime radio, proceeded to say that any deals that the foreign minister makes is completely null and void, and that that Iran will only obey any law made by the supreme leader, and that the IRGC will enforce it, and that the foreign minister is an idiot. So basically, even if they, any nation does come to an agreement, unblocking the strait, they're basically saying it's not gonna matter. We're still gonna bomb you if you attempt to come past, because you didn't the Ayatollah or supreme leader didn't approve it. So there's going to be a civil war in Iraq because the military is still left. The IRGC is just the people that protect the supreme leader, as they call it. There's already been militant groups rising up. So that's the farthest that I should say the most recent news that I've heard. So like
Alright.
it's there's a lot of fucky shit going on, and I don't think it's gonna last much longer. So I don't even think there's gonna have to be foreign intervention going on. Like at this point, other nations are just sitting back watching, like, how long before these guys just completely fucking implode?
Right. That's how they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're opening up their cans. You know?
They're glugging in back.
Yep. Now we need that. I need that sound now. Ladies and gentlemen, because
Sounds
you're...
like too much like a whip.
Yeah, right. Ladies and gentlemen, because you already know where this oil stuff is at now, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to say that the Brent crude climbed back up towards the mid $90 range, while the U.S. benchmark prices followed closely, reflecting a synchronized global reaction to supply uncertainty rather than isolated regional pricing pressure, ladies and gentlemen. So right now we're in a balance of, are we getting this oil or not? Are the gas prices going to keep going up? Or are goods going to keep going up? Everything is just going up. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this changes. Hopefully we get to a point where we're all of us were back on our feet and we're not struggling like everybody else in America and around the world. For now, we're going to move on to now the D4VD murder case revelation that we talked about in September. D4VD, the murder case inside the charges in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. As of today, April 20th, singer D4VD, legal name David Anthony Burke, was formally charged with first-degree murder in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, marking this culmination of a case that has unfolded over 2 years and shifted from a missing persons investigation into one of the most closely watched criminal proceedings involving a rising music figure. The case has drawn intense attention not only because of the severity of the allegations, but also because of the unusual timeline. A disappearance in 2024, a major forensic discovery in 2025, and criminal charges filed in 2026. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was first reported missing in April 2024 in Southern California. At the time, her disappearance was treated as a standard missing persons case involving a minor, with investigators working through interviews, communication records, and background leads in an effort to reconstruct her final known movement. For more than a year, the case remained unresolved publicly, with limited information released as authorities continued their investigation behind the scenes. During this period, there was no official public confirmation linked the case to D4VD, though investigators were continuing to collect digital and physical evidence. A major turning point came on September 8th, 2025, when a law enforcement impounded an abandoned Tesla when law enforcement impounded an abandoned Tesla in Los Angeles. Inside the vehicle trunk, officers discovered human remains in an advanced state of decomposition. Forensic Testing later confirmed that the remains belonged to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The vehicle was registered to D4VD, immediately placing him at the center of the investigation and transforming the case from a missing persons inquiry into a homicide investigation. From that point forward, authorities began a broader examination of digital records, vehicle data, communication history, and witness statements in order to reconstruct how the victim ended up in the vehicle and what occurred in the time leading up to her death. By the late 2025, the investigation had escalated to a Los Angeles County grand jury review, indicating prosecutors believed they had gathered sufficient evidence to consider criminal charges. Reports from court filings, investigative coverage described D4VD as a target of the grand jury proceedings, signaling that he was the primary focus of the case. Some reporting also indicated that the forensic findings suggested that the remains may have been concealed in a manner intended to delay identification, though full autopsy and forensic details have not been publicly released in their entirety. Uh, Today, April 20th, prosecutors officially announced charges against D4VD, including first-degree murder and additional allegations tied to handling of the victim's remains. Prosecutors have characterized the case involving intentional conduct and efforts to conceal the crime, while also alleging that there may have been prior contact between the defendant and the victim. These allegations remain part of the prosecution's case and have not yet been tested in trial. As with all criminal proceedings, the charges represent claims that must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in court. D4VD was arrested in April 2026 and appeared in court on the same day the charges were filed. He entered a plea of not guilty through his legal team and remains in custody without bail as the case moves through pretrial hearings. His defense has denied all allegations and stated that they intend to challenge both the interpretation and reliability of the evidence presented by prosecutors. No trial date has been set yet. The case has generated widespread public reaction due to a combination of factors involved. The youth of the victim, extended delay between disappearance and discovery, the involvement of a well-known music artist with a large online following. Legal observers note that the high-profile cases like this often attract significant public attention before evidence is fully examined in court, raising broader questions about how public opinion forms during ongoing criminal proceedings. And like I said, as of April 20th, the case remains in an early legal stage. The prosecution continues to build its case while the defense prepares his response, and the court will ultimately determine how the evidence is weighed as the process moves towards trial. For now, the central facts remains limited to what investigators have confirmed and what prosecutors have alleged and what the defense has disputed, leaving the final determination entirely in the hands of the judicial process. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be waiting for more coverage on this. Hopefully there was some sort of update from Friday or Monday, and we'll touch this again. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our discussing questions here. How should courts balance public attention with the need of an unbiased trial in a high-profile case? What challenges arise when long gaps exists between a disappearance and eventual discovery of a victim? How does social media influence the perception of guilt or innocence before any verdict is reached? Let us know in the comments section, ladies and gentlemen. Revelation, what do you got?
I just think everybody should get the same trial because, with him being a celebrity, even though I've never fucking heard of him, he is going to get a, lesser sentence than what somebody like you or me would get that if we did that. Like, obviously stuff like that isn't gonna stop.
Right.
Like if it was, even if you had that, like, oh, everyone gets, the same kind of trial, that's not going to stop the whole bringing, like lawyers, rich people can get better lawyers. You'd have to have everybody having the same lawyer, which is completely, you can't do that because that's going to put like firms out of business and whatnot. So yeah, because the lawyers have a part to play, but like at the same time, like people being famous, it's like, oh well, don't put him in jail. He's famous. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, your average Joe Schmo blue collar worker, just decides to stuff some chick in his trunk. Like, that's like 15 years in jail because, he gets like a fucking public defender or at best some lawyer who has 2 years of experience compared to a celebrity who does the same thing and has like an A grade lawyer with like 20 years of experience at like the top law firm in the state. Like, I don't know, it just, shit like that pisses me off.
Oh, that's the shit that pisses off Revelation, ladies and gentlemen. Hell yeah.
It really grinds my gears.
It really grinds his gears. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good. Why don't we have that?
Real life Peter Griffin here. You don't really grind my gears.
Oh God.
You know what really grinds my gears? Subway not putting a lot of meat on my fucking subs.
That is a fact. Like, not enough. It's getting thinner and thinner. But people here would say, ew, you're having, what is it called? Subway? That's what people would say.
I prefer Five Guys.
Whoa!
That's what she said.
Yes, sir.
No, real talk, I do though.
That's nice. Yeah, if you can afford a $30 hamburger, I guess.
Who the fuck gets a hamburger from Five Guys? They don't even serve those. How high are you?
I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move now to a woman that was fatally shot by police in Omaha, Nebraska on April 14th. After authorities say she attempted to abduct a 3-year-old child inside a Walmart store and attacked the child with a knife during a rapidly escalating confrontation. According to Omaha Police Department, the incident began inside of the store when the woman allegedly obtained a knife and approached a mother shopping with her young child. Witnesses reported that the situation escalated so quickly as the woman allegedly attempted to forcefully take the child, creating panic among shoppers and employees who immediately contacted emergency services. As the confrontation moved towards the store exit, the mother and child were allegedly forced outside into the parking lot. Store employees continued relaying real-time information to dispatchers as police units rushed to the scene. Officers arrived within minutes of the 911 call and located the suspect outside the Walmart holding the child and armed with a knife. Police say repeated commands were given for her to drop the weapon, but she did not comply. During the confrontation, authorities say the child was injured by the knife while still in the suspect's control. Emergency responders later confirmed that the child sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries and was immediately transported to a hospital for treatment. He is expected to survive. At that point, officers fired their weapons, striking the suspect and ending the threat. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Law enforcement officials described described the encounter as a fast-moving and highly dangerous, emphasizing officers were faced with an immediate risk to the child's life when they made the decision to use deadly force. The child remains in recovery with the family members, and officials have stated there is no ongoing threat to the public. Following the incident, the Omaha Police Department launched a full internal investigation. That review includes body camera footage, witness statements, and surveillance video from inside and outside the store. The purpose of the investigation is to determine whether the use of force met departmental policy and legal standards under the circumstances. Authorities have confirmed that no criminal charges will be filed due to the suspect's deaths. The remaining process is administrative and focuses solely on evaluating police conduct during the incident. Investigators have also indicated that the suspect had a documented history of mental health challenges and prior interactions with the law enforcement. Though officials have not confirmed a motive for the Walmart incident, police have stated that there is no longer connection between the suspect and the child or the family involved. The case has drawn significant public attention due to the setting of the incident, a Crown retail store, and the presence of a child at the center of the violent confrontation. It has also reignited broader discussions about mental health interventions, systems, and emergency response in public spaces. And the difficult decisions officers face during rapidly unfolding life-threatening situations. As of April 20th, the investigation remains ongoing, and the officials have not yet released final findings regarding the officer's use of force. The case is expected to conclude with a full report after all the video evidence and witnesses' accounts have been reviewed. Now, my ending discussing questions, as always, ladies and gentlemen: how should police balance immediate threat response with de-escalation when a child's life is in immediate danger? What role should surveillance and body camera footage play in determining whether deadly force was justified? And how can public spaces like large retail stores better prepare for fast-moving violent emergencies? Let us know in the chat. Revelation. Well, I know you're about to go ham. What do you got?
I don't know how anyone in their right mind can think of being going and being like, you know what I want to do when I wake up this morning and after eating my Fruit Loops? Going to a store, taking out a knife, pointing it at a mother and her child, forcing them out into a parking lot, and getting chrome-domed by a cop.
Right.
Who the fuck? What? Just... I don't even know what to say to that.
That's crazy.
That is not my first thought when I wake up in the morning is, yes, I'm gonna go London a fucking mother and child. What?
Yeah, the world that we live now, ladies and gentlemen. The world that we live now. Everything is a mental health problem.
Oh, that's not even a mental health problem. That's just some stupid shit.
You know, I just remembered there was an important topic I wanted to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and for some reason I don't have it. Hopefully you can talk about it if you don't have it. And maybe you can get it ready.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, we're gonna be talking about the 8 children that had died in Louisiana. I thought I had that ready in here, and I don't have it ready. I'm looking for it. I don't think we hit it, docket team. We have it in the title, and we don't have it in here. Well, I have an idea. We'll hit it. We'll hit Revelations time before we hit WrestleMania topic, so then I can get it ready. Freaking docket team. Anyway, Moving along to an Oklahoma high school, ladies and gentlemen, is at a center of a major investigation after a school shooting on April 20th, 2026. It wasn't on April 20th. Was it today? It was not today. It was 5 days ago. Docket team, what are you doing to me today? What are you doing to me? I blame docket team. Give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen, so I can give you the exact date. We want to do things correctly around here. We don't want to give misinformation. Jeez. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. On April 14th, during which Principal Kirk Moore reportedly confronted and tackled an armed gunman on campus, sustaining a gunshot wound in the leg, but helping prevent the attacker from advancing further into the school. Authorities and school officials say the incident began when an armed individual entered the campus and opened fire, triggering an immediate lockdown and a large-scale emergency response. Students and staff were instructed to shelter in place or evacuate depending on their location as panic spread through parts of the building, and emergency alerts were activated across the campus. According to preliminary law enforcement accounts, the shooter began firing shortly after entering the school. As the situation escalated, administrators worked urgently to secure classrooms and guide students away from danger, while emergency calls flooded local dispatch centers. During the attack, Principal Kirk Moore reportedly moved directly towards the area where the gunman was located instead of retreating. Witness accounts and early officials' statements indicate that Moore physically confronted the shooter and tackled him in an effort to stop the attack from continuing deeper into the school. During the struggle, Moore was shot in the leg. Despite his injury, officials say he continued attempting to restrain the attacker long enough to disrupt the shooter's movements and delays further harm to students. Investigators believe this intervention created a critical window of time that allowed additional students and staff to secure classrooms or escape from nearby areas. Law enforcement officers arrived shortly after the first emergency calls and entered the school to locate the suspect. The shooter was neutralized shortly after officers made contact inside the building, ending the immediate threat. Officials have not yet released full details regarding the final engagement as the investigation remains ongoing. Principal Moore was transported to a nearby hospital where he was treated for a gunshot wound to the leg. Authorities confirmed that his injuries are serious but not life-threatening. He is expected to recover. No additional critical injuries among students or staff have been reported beyond those directly affected during the initial chaos of the attack. Following the incident, the school was placed on extended closure while law enforcement secured the campus and began full investigation. Authorities are reviewing surveillance footage, communication logs, and witness statements to reconstruct the full timeline of the shooting, including how the attacker gained access and how quickly the response unfolded. District officials have confirmed that counseling services are being made available to students, staff, and families. Community members have gathered in support of the school with widespread recognition of Moore's actions, which officials have described as potentially life-saving during a rapidly unfolding crisis. As of April 20th, 2026, today, the investigation remains ongoing with no final conclusions released regarding motive of the full circumstances of the attack. Officials are expected to provide further updates once evidence review is complete. In the days following the shooting, community accounts and local social updates also highlighted a moment of recognition for Principal Moore outside the hospital setting. According to these reports, he was later celebrated by the school community at prom, where he was unexpectedly honored and crowned prom king in a gesture of gratitude from students and staff. While this detail has not been part of official investigative reporting, it has circulated a symbolic moment reflecting the community's appreciation for his action during the attack. Now, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit you with discussing questions about the topic. How should schools prepare staff for for life-threatening situations where immediate personal intervention may occur? What long-term systems are most effective for students and educators after traumatic school violence? Sorry, and how do symbolic community gestures like honoring survivors or heroes influence recovery after a crisis? Let us know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you want to say about this revelation?
Um, Not that I can think of.
No worries. We're gonna go into the ibogaine, the psychedelic drug. Just 2 days ago, ladies and gentlemen, on April 18, 2026, President Donald Trump signed a major executive order in the Oval Office aimed at speeding up research and potential access to promising treatments of serious mental health conditions. The order, titled Accelerating Medical Treatments for Serious Mental Illness, puts special focus on ibogaine, a powerful psychoactive substance derived from an African plant. Trump was joined at the signing by Health and Humane Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., FDA Commissioner Marty McCary, podcaster Joe Rogan, Americans for Ibogaine CEO W. Brian Hubbard, and former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell. The president described the move as a way to cut through red tape and give people suffering from addiction, PTSD, and traumatic brain injury a real chance to reclaim their lives. Ibogaine comes from the root bark of a Tabernacle iboga shrub, which grows naturally in the rainforests of Central and West Africa, especially in Gabon, Cameroon, and the Republic of the Congo. For hundreds of years, members of the Bwiti spiritual tradition have used the plant in sacred ceremonies in small amounts. It serves as a mild stimulant to fight fatigue during long rituals or hunts. In much larger doses, it produces intense, dreamlike visions that can last 24 to 48 hours or more. People often describe a profound life review where they relive memories, confront past traumas, and gain deep insights into their behaviors and addictions. Many emerge from the experience feeling as if their brain has been reset. In modern medicine, ibogaine has drawn attention mainly for its potential to treat addiction and trauma. Unlike standard treatments that manage symptoms over months or years, a single supervised session have been reported to sharply reduce or even eliminate withdrawal symptoms in craving for opioids, cocaine, alcohol, and other drugs. Researchers believe it works by interacting with multiple systems in the brain, including serotonin, opioid, and glutamate receptors. Uh, its main metabolite, Norobogaine, stays active in the body for days or weeks, and it may help stabilize mood and reduce cravings. One of those important recent studies came from Stanford Medicine in 2024. 30 special operation veterans with traumatic brain injuries from repeated blast exposures traveled to a clinic in Mexico for treatment. They received ibogaine along with magnesium to help protect the heart. Also, all of them have severe PTSD, depression, anxiety, and trouble functioning in daily life. After the session, researchers observed large reductions in symptoms, often 80 to 90% improvements in PTSD, depression, and anxiety within a month. Brain scans showed changes in theta rhythms and cortical activity, and that lined up with a better executive function and lower PTSD severity. While the study was not randomized controlled trial, the results were striking for a group that had not responded well to conventional care. Now, beyond veterans, Ibogaine has shown promise in observational reports from clinics outside the United States for breaking the cycle of addiction. Some people achieve weeks or months of reduced cravings after one session, especially when the experience is supported by preparation, therapy, and aftercare. Advocates argue that uh, addresses root causes like unresolved trauma rather than just making symptoms the making symptoms the way methadone and oh my god, that's a heck of a word, buprenorphine often do. Yet ibogaine carries real risks. It is currently classified as a Schedule 1 controlled substance in the United States, the strictest category, which means it has no accepted medical use and high potential for abuse under federal law. The biggest safety concern is its effect on the heart. Ibogaine and noribogaine can prolong the QT interval on an electrocardiogram, raising the chance of dangerous arrhythmias such as torsades the pointies. That's the medical term, which can lead to cardiac arrest. Medical literature has documented at least 19 to 33, that's linked to ibogaine since the 1990s. Many involve people with undiagnosed heart problems, electrolyte imbalances, or the use of other substance at the same time. Even in screened patients, individuals' differences how the body metabolizes the drug can affect risk. Other side effects include nausea, loss of coordination, and intense psychological distress during visionary phase. Because of these dangers, and any responsible use requires thorough medical screening, continuous cardiac monitoring, magnesium supplementation, and immediate access to emergency care. Patients with certain heart, liver, and psychiatric conditions are usually excluded. The new executive order does not reclassify ibogaine or make it legal for general use. Instead, it directs the FDA to fast-track reviews of psychedelics that have shown promise in studies, especially for treatment-resistant cases. It commits at least $50 million in federal funding to support and match state-level ibogaine research programs, building on Texas' earlier $50 million investment. It also creates a clear pathway for eligible patients, particularly veterans and those with life-threatening or severely debilitating conditions, to access investigational treatments under the Right to Try Act, including necessary permissions for doctors to handle the Schedule 1 substance. President Trump emphasized that if the early signals hold up, this could have tremendous positive impact. Joe Rogan, who spoke about ibogaine on his podcast, helped raise awareness leading into the decision. Supporters, including veterans group and organizations like Americans for Ibogaine, see the order as a compassionate response to the ongoing opioid crisis and high rates of veteran suicide. They hope it will encourage more rigorous domestic clinical trials and bring effective care back into the United States borders instead of forcing people to travel abroad. Critics argue they point out that while preliminary data are encouraging large scale randomized and controlled trials are still needed to confirm both effectiveness and long term safety. They worry that politically momentum could outpace the science and the hype might encourage unsafe underground use. Most experts agree that ibogaine is not a miracle cure on its own, and it works best as part of a full protocol and psychological support. This executive order represents a notable shift in federal policy towards exploring the psychedelic-assisted therapies. Ibogaine will not become widely available overnight, but the doors is now opening wider for research and compassionate access for veterans living with invisible wounds, for families shattered by addiction, and for anyone who has exhausted conventional options. It offers a measure of hope that has been long in coming. The coming months will show whether this fast-track research delivers on its early promise while keeping patient safety at the center. Now, my ending discussing questions. First, given ibogaine known cardiac risk and history of fatalities, should the government accelerate research and limited access for veterans and others with severe treatment-resistant conditions, or is it a wiser to require more extensive long-term safety data first? Second, how much influence should personal stories from veterans, high profile advocates like Joe Rogan, and state initiatives have on shaping national drug policy compared to traditional large scale clinical trials? Third, if future well-controlled studies confirm that ibogaine is effective and can be administered safely in medical settings, will you support regulated access as part of the comprehensive therapy for addiction and PTSD, or should we continue to rely mainly on existing pharmaceutical and behavior treatments? Let us know in the comment section as always. Rev, help me out here. I'm out of breath. What do you think?
I'm
Are you there?
I'm honestly just drawing a blank. Hey, you. Goddamn Woody the Woodpecker ass motherfucker.
Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the point to the podcast where we will be sending it to Revelation so I can figure out what happened to one of our main topics of the show, and it wasn't in here because of docket team. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move it over to our good friend Revelation. But before then, we're going to hit you again with our sponsors. The Cavehill Hotel and Tavern, located down in Kleinfeltersville, Pennsylvania. They're open from Wednesday to Sunday. Wednesday and Thursday, they're open from 4 to 9. Friday 4 to 10. Saturday 12 to 10. And Sunday 12 to 8. They're located down at 2647 Heidelberg Avenue, Kleinfeltersville, Pennsylvania 17039. Phone number is 717-949-8413 if you have any questions or reservations that you need to take care of. Make sure to try their chicken wings and their peanut butter and jelly burger. We also have our good friend Bradford Kelly down in Milford, Connecticut with that Atlas Epoxy Floors, ladies and gentlemen. You can contact him at 203-496-6386 or email him at brad.kelly@atlasepoxyfloors.com. He does everything from garages, basements, patios, lobbies, countertops, whatever you need, epoxy. Our good friend Atlas Epoxy Floors, Bradford Kelly, we'll do it for you. He is CEO and owner, and again, he's located down in Milford, Connecticut. You can contact him at 203-496-6386. Email him at brad.kelly@atlasepoxyfloors.com or visit his website at atlasepoxyfloors.com. We also have Velocity Modern Classics, ladies and gentlemen. They're located down in 15 East Quintet Road in Canterbury, Florida, 32533. VelocityRestorations.com for any information on what they work on and what they do. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to visit their Velocity Restorations website. You can also give them a call at 850-466-1810. They're open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 6 p.m. And without further ado, Producer Mike Presents. I'm on that show, ladies and gentlemen. The Movement on the Producer Mike Presents channel. Live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hell yeah. So make sure to tune in on that. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Revelation.
First one is some more AI stuff from our our favorite budget pizza joint, Little Caesars. So they are adding Chat GPT to its list of ordering channels. The announcement comes after a couple of days after Starbucks announced a similar feature. Through ChatGPT, the pizza giant allows customers to plan, customize, and place orders using natural language before completing the transaction in its mobile app, which I think is going to be a very bad thing if you know anything about people using, if you know anything about people who have an accent or a lisp when it comes to Chat GPT or any other AI, language to text. This feature is rolling out nationwide across the US with additional availability in Canada and Mexico. Today's consumers are turning to Gen AI as part of how they search for everything, including where to get their next meal, said CMO Greg Hamilton. Greg, I don't know what kind of, drugs you're smoking, but I usually just, look up on Google, hey, where is my local restaurant and what menu do they have? I don't fucking look up AI for it. Anyways, we recognize this shift and want to meet our customers where they already are and be the go-to for their pizza occasions. The process is as natural and intuitive as having a conversation. It's not about the technology for technology's sake. It's about making life a little easier for people who love great pizza. Little Caesar's approach is rooted in that reality. Instead of navigating a traditional digital menu, customers can simply describe what they want, whether it's a pizza for four under $30 or a vegetarian-friendly spread, and receive tailored suggestions instantly. That's the Or you could just do what everyone else does and be like, okay, vegetarian options. Oh, large pizza. Boop, 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 boop. Confirm purchase. Book credit card. Debit card. Boop. Fucking easy. Oh. The experience is intuitive from the first interaction. After accessing Little Caesars within ChatGPT and linking an account, users can begin. You gotta link fucking accounts to. Oh my. Oh. Users can begin a conversation that guides the entire. You gotta. Oh my. There. The system interprets inputs just as group size, diet. What the dietary needs, budget constraints, and delivery preferences, then builds a customized order that can be crafted in real time. Customers can swap toppings, adjust quantities, and add things like crazy bread or wings, and review a complete order summary before moving to checkout. Listen, Little Caesars, I don't want fucking Skynet ordering for me. At that point, the process transitions into Little Caesars mobile app where payment is These muffkers right here. The system can factor in dietary. Okay, yeah, we've already done that. Payment options, including credit cards, digital wallets, and gift cards, remain unchanged within the Little Caesars app. The platform also supports order tracking and scheduling, so users can monitor their pizza in real time or plan orders in advance for specific windows. Wow, they're really gonna fuck themselves over with that one. Wow. Okay, on to the next article. And this is one For everyone's favorite hood flying experience, Spirit Airlines could shut down immediately, reports say. And here's what to do if you're scheduled to fly with them. Spirit Airlines is at risk of shutting down and liquidating as soon as this week, I don't give a fuck about your damn ads. Let me close the ad. I said let me close the ad. Sorry, everyone. And this was April 16th. So, oh my.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So this was April 16th. So they might still be open. I don't know. Could docket team check into that for me?
What do you need to know?
So it says that Spirit Airlines could be closing down as soon as within a week. This article was from April 16th. And it is the 21st. So if they're still open, then they might have received funding. So let's check that out. I will continue reading the article. Bloomberg and CNBC separately reported late Wednesday that the airline expected to run out of cash imminently as a result of surging jet fuel costs. Spirit has struggled to turn a profit since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, and it has filed for bankruptcy twice since late 2024, most recently in August. We don't comment on market rumors and speculation, a spokesperson for Spirit told DBG. Spirit continued to operate flights and sell tickets on Thursday. However, concerns across the airline industry were growing. The Florida-based airline had hoped to exit its second bankruptcy by this summer. After reaching an agreement with creditors in late February, it was in the process of shrinking its fleet and reconfiguring its network in an effort to find a more viable business model. Numerous Spirit aircraft have been spotted flying to a storage facility in Southern California Logistics Airport, VCV, in Victorville, California. In recent days, though it was not clear whether the aircraft were being stored because of liquidation plans or part of Spirit's planned reconstruction. If you're scheduled to fly with Spirit in the near or distant future, or if you find yourself stranded somewhere far away from home now, here's what you need to know. Um, Call the number on the back of your credit card, tell the representative that you want to dispute a charge, and then follow the instructions to submit a claim. If you use a debit card to buy the ticket, it is possible, although less likely, that you'll be able to file a dispute for undelivered services. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, you should still call the number on the back of the card to learn about your options. Keep in mind that these undelivered service claims only apply to when it's the vendor's fault. If you choose to cancel a trip that isn't refundable, you can't initiate a chargeback. And that is all it really says about that.
Yeah, so they're playing the game of no, Spirit Airlines is not officially closing, but the real situation is more serious than rumors make it sound. You know, like you said, what is happening is the reports of major outlets said Spirits could be forced into liquidation within days. The airline was still in its second bankruptcy under a year. A massive spike in the jet fuel prices nearly doubled what they expected, destroyed their financial plan. Creditors were losing confidence, and liquidation became a real option. Then they go with The reason why this is happening is fuel prices exploded due to the Iran conflict, like you had mentioned. Spirit's plan assumed $2.20 per gallon. Reality hit at $4.20 cents per gallon. That added hundreds of millions in unexpected costs. They already had billions in debt and weak cash reserves. Experts describe it as a receipt for disaster and up against the wall. And a Spirit official said they denied immediate shutdown rumors, said flights were still operating normally, called reports speculation. Uh, you said something about where things stood from April 16th. As of April 16th to now, planes are still flying. Money's running out fast. Creditors deciding what happens next. Possible shutdown at any time if funding fails. Some reports even said liquidation could happen this week if no solution was found. What happens if it shuts down? If liquidation actually happens, all flights stop immediately. Tickets could become worthless. Planes and assets get sold off. Other airlines take over routes. The final takeaway on this, ladies and gentlemen, not closed yet. They're still operating, but on the edge of collapse. If fuel prices keep going up, there will be no bailout, no deal happenings. Shutdown becomes very fast, is what they're saying. So yeah, that's what's coming.
Well then.
Happy 420. You got anything else, Rev?
Oh no.
That's it? Well, thank you so much, Revelation. Finding the goods, ladies and gentlemen. Finding the goods. Now, we're going to move into a horrific domestic violence incident in Shreveport, Louisiana. Has left the community in shock after a man fatally shot 8 children, 7 of them his own, and wounded 2 adult women early Sunday morning. April 19th, Sunday morning, which was April 19th. The suspect, authorities are describing the rampage as one of the deadliest mass shootings in the United States in recent years. The shooting occurred across at least 2 homes in South Shreveport neighborhood, primarily in the Cedar Grove area. Police received the first call around 5 a.m. reporting a domestic disturbance, according to Shreveport Police Department. Spokesperson Chris Bordelin Elkins began the attack by shooting a woman at one location before moving to a second home where most of the children were present. The victims were 8 children ranging in the age from 3 and 11 years old, 5 girls and 3 boys. 7 were Elkins' biological children, and the 8 was his nephew. The names released by the Caddo Parish Coroner's Office include Jayla Elkins, she was 3. Shayla Elkins, she was 5. Kayla Poe, she was 6. Layla Poe, 7. McCaden Poe, 10. Saraya Snow, 11. Clarion Snow, 6. And Braylon Snow, 5. A 9th child, a 13-year-old boy, managed to escape by jumping from the roof of the house, sustaining broken bones, but survived. 2 adult women were also shot and critically injured, one believed to be Elkins' wife and the mother of several of the children. The second woman has been described in some reports as his girlfriend. Both were hospitalized with serious injuries and are expected to survive. Elkins fled the scene in a stolen vehicle. Police pursued him, and during the chase, officers shot and killed the suspect. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators later confirmed that Elkins was a convicted felon with a 2019 firearm conviction, and he reportedly used an assault-style weapon in the attack. Family members have told reporters that Elkins had a history of mental health issues and had recently expressed suicidal thoughts. No clear motive has been publicly established so far. Police are treating the case as a domestic violence incident tied on to ongoing family issues, possibly related to separation or custody matters. A full investigation is underway, including reviews of multiple crime scenes, and authorities are still gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry visited Shreveport to meet with local officials and offered condolences to the families. Shreveport mayor called the tragedy and the worst situation we've ever had in the city. Community leaders and first responders are being offered mental health support in the aftermath. This devastating event has renewed conversations about domestic violence involving firearms, mental health resources for families in the crisis, and the gun access for individuals with prior convictions or reported mental health concerns. Now, my ending discussing questions about this. In cases of domestic violence and that escalated to this level of tragedy, what additional support systems or warning signs do you believe could help prevent such outcomes for children and families? Given that the suspect had a prior felony firearms conviction, how effective do you think current laws are at keeping guns out of the hands of people with violent histories or mental health challenges? How should communities and policymakers respond to tragedies like this through stronger domestic violence intervention programs, mental health funding, gun safety measures, or a combination of approaches? Let us know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, and condolences to the families of the children that had to endure, this this kind of this of disaster. It's rough. I can only imagine what these women are going to be going through for the rest of their lives, and I wish them nothing but strength and condolences. So you got anything to say? Revelation?
Like I said, I already personally think that we should start funding more into mental health. I also think everybody should at least, be taught gun safety, whether or not you personally like guns. That way you are responsible with them, and you're not just some idiot that just picks one up and is like, yes, let me just start pointing it around at somebody. Because, you don't say, it's like a knife. You're not just going to point a knife at somebody. Because then, it's like the whole entire thing. You were taught as a kid, don't run with scissors. Same thing with a gun. Don't point a gun at somebody. Like, you don't want to give a mentally ill person a gun. Like, that's why they don't let felons have guns.
Right.
If we put more into, like funding stuff for mental health, it'd be like, oh, hey, this person is, like, there'd be a higher chance for detecting a person. I would guess, be like, oh, hey, this person has mental problems. Let's, they can't do these certain things. Don't let them have this, don't let them have that, don't let them have this unless they're supervised.
Correct.
So, as for like beating people, well, I'm not even gonna put my 2 cents into that, because this would be demonetized. Like, oofed real fast.
Right. But our condolences to the families, to the friends, and keep your head up, everybody, in this world that we live in today. Many other things happened today, Revelation. Another shooting that involved more children dying. It's been It's been a hell of a few days, truly, truly. Yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna say it real quick. Let's see here. Two teens killed, five hurt as a gunfire erupts during planned fight at North Carolina Park. Two boys, 16 and 17 years old, died at Lanebach Park in Winston-Salem after they were shot, police said, while five others between the ages of 14 and 19 were shot and suffered injuries ranging from critical to minor. Things are going fucking bad out there. No joke. No fucking joke. Very scary times to have our kids in school and such. You know, and it only takes us, ladies and gentlemen. It only takes us to make a difference to our children's lives, to guide them into the directions of good behavior. I mean, it's not about killing yourself to make a bionic child to be the best thing to come, but do the best you can. Always advise your children who they're friends with, what are the conversations that they're having, what are the conversations that they're hearing of their peers in school or whoever. It could be even family members, their cousins, their nephews, who knows. Make sure to guide your children, guide these children to the right way, because at the end of the day, we're the ones, our generation is the one that's going to suffer when we're the ones that are old at the decrepit home, and none of these kids have empathy, So make sure to guide your children, ladies and gentlemen. The children are our future. They're the ones who are going to be taking care of all of us when we are old and decrepit. But ladies and gentlemen, we're finally going to move into...
And now, WWE presents WrestleMania.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about night 1 and 2 of everything that has happened at WrestleMania 42. I know that Revelation has got some good stuff to talk about, hopefully, tonight, because this is the topic of the night, ladies and gentlemen. WrestleMania 42 has officially wrapped from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, delivering 2 unforgettable nights packed with title changes, shocking returns, brutal matches, and emotional moments. And here's a complete breakdown of everything that has happened across both nights. Now, Revelation, as I'm reading this matches aloud, if you need to intervene to have a point, you can go ahead and do so. Night 1, Saturday, April 18th, ladies and gentlemen. The show opened with a high-energy 6-man tag team match. LA Knight, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso defeating Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed. The Vision. After the bell, IShowSpeed turned on Logan Paul with a splash through an announce table. In a brutal, unsanctioned street fight, Jacob Fatu defeated Drew McIntyre in a bloody, weapon-filled brawl that many called one of the best matches of the night. Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way, Brie Bella and returning Paige defeated Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair to win the titles. Paige in ring return after years away was a major feel-good moment, so they are saying. Becky Lynch defeated AJ Lee to become the new women's intercontinental champion, in a strong technical match, which my opinion was complete shit. Gunther defeated Seth Rollins after Braun Breaker made a shocking return and attacked Rollins, allowing Gunther to win by submission. Another shit match. Liv Morgan defeated Stephanie Vicker to become the new women's world champion. Also bullshit. They should have left La Primera be right where she's at, ladies and gentlemen. But fumbling, ladies and gentlemen. They're fumbling there at WWE lately. Main event, undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton in a 22-minute personal war. After the match, where Orton attacked Pat McAfee and punted Cody, leaving him laid out. He fucked up his eye pretty goddamn bad. But I think Revelation would agree with me that it was another shit match. And if you agree, let us know in the comments.
It was a mediocre match.
It was a mediocre match. You know,
thankfully Randy fucking RKO'd fucking.
Yeah, Pat McAfee got RKO'd. That's what we should have said.
I
not just attacked him, ladies and gentlemen. He RKO'd him. You know.
I like them fucking using each other's finishers on each other. That was nice, but it was mediocre at best.
And so you guys know, I forgot to mention this, John Cena was the host of both WrestleMania. When I mean both, I meant both shows of WrestleMania. I'm mentioning that because it looks like we're mentioning it again here. Night 2 now, ladies and gentlemen, of April 19th. John Cena opened the show with a special welcome to the Las Vegas crowd. In a huge upset, Obafemi defeated Brock Lesnar cleanly with a fall from grace. Lesnar left his gloves and boots in the ring afterwards, sparking strong retirement speculation. Intercontinental. Oh, go ahead.
He did retire.
Paul Heyman is saying something else now. Paul Heyman is saying that he did not really retire and that we have to wait for the storyline. But we will see. We will see.
That's not it was not a storyline. Like he legitimate Triple H didn't even know about it.
No, correct. Nobody knows. Triple
H called fucking Paul Heyman and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I lost my area here. Intercontinental Championship, 6-man ladder match. Penta retained his title against Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, which he looked like he turned the clock back and he was like 20 years ago, Rey Mysterio.
That was a good match.
Rusev and JD McDonough in a wild 15-minute high-flying spectacle. I think they all put it on the line. That was, you know what? I can say the Obafemi match, even though it only lasted like 10 minutes, it was good.
Everyone but the fucking Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton match lasted like 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Moving along now, Trick Williams with Lil Yachty defeated Sami Zayn to become the new United States Championship. I did not care for it. I actually went to go get something to eat. Street Fight, the Demon Finn Balor defeated Dominic Mysterio in a hardcore revenge match filled with weapons. I missed it.
That one was good.
I missed it a little bit.
Longer.
They should have been longer. I missed it a little bit. I did watch a little bit of the beginning. WWE Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley defeated Jade Cargill to win the title, with some interference helping her hit the riptide. She celebrated with Io Sky afterwards. I mean, Jade Cargill hasn't done much, though, for that title, so...
yeah, literally one title defense.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've been waiting for, the main event. Roman Reigns defeated CM Punk to become the new World Heavyweight Champion in nearly 34-minute epic that featured table spears, blood, and exhaustion. Reigns stood tall to close WrestleMania 42, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know
the title to be held hostage again.
Yeah. Or if you watch Raw tonight, it has been Jacob Fatu will be facing Roman Reigns for the heavyweight championship at Backlash. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that.
Everyone has been saying that it is just massive, like there's been massive controversy over that whole entire Punk Reigns match. There was supposed to be countouts, supposed to be DQs, and the one where he hit him with the fucking steel steps where Punk was like hanging down. Was supposed to be a DQ.
Ah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. When he hit him with the with the steps, yeah, everybody's complaining about that. That should have been a DQ. I'm guessing Roman got fined for that. But you know,
yeah, there was, and there he was supposed to like Reigns was supposed to be counted out. He was also supposed to fucking not kick out, and he did. And like he went from literally like the week before not being able to walk to suddenly being able to just fucking full ass like sprint and spear somebody. Like I yeah, I don't understand. Like he must have been fucking slobbing on somebody's knob because like he literally was like, "Oh, well, if I don't get the title, I'm gonna leave." Like literally 3 days before WrestleMania. And guess who got the title?
oh.
Fucking Reigns. Like, hmm. Yeah, I wonder why.
And now the Uzos are back with him on his side, and you know, it sounds like we're gonna have a repeat coming to you very soon, unless Jacob Fatu does his job and defeats the OTC Roman Reigns. Now, while the in-ring action delivered for many fans, WrestleMania 42 faced noticeable criticism for the overwhelming amount of commercial content. The show was packed with sponsor plugs, brand integrations, celebrity cameos, and a lengthy ad breaks that interrupted the flow between matches. Some viewers felt that the constant commercials and product placement took away from the premium feel of the biggest event of the year, making it feel more like a corporate showcase than a pure wrestling spectacle. Others pointed out that the ad-heavy production stretched the running time significantly, testing the patience of even dedicated fans watching late into the night. Like me, I couldn't believe that I had paid for the ESPN Unlimited for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, so I could catch this main event. And yeah, it wasn't nothing compared to what it usually is. I also feel like
Yeah,
WrestleMania 42 did not have the feeling of the last few WrestleManias. It felt like a normal PLE.
yeah. A lot of people were saying like, who put all these wrestling matches in with my commercials?
Yeah, I mean, and then they had just this preview screen of like, oh, we're in a commercial break, and then they put a 6 minute timer on it, and you're just watching the logo of WrestleMania. That's it. No, no video, like, you know what I mean? Like, usually they have commentary, they'll pass it to the guys from the post show or something. Nothing. So I think ESPN, WWE, you gotta get your shit together if you can.
It's definitely a TKO thing.
Yeah, yeah, you guys have to get your shit together. Or bring the old guy back. Hey! Alright,
Yeah,
ladies and
TKO
go ahead.
gives two shits.
Yeah, that's a fact. Here are the three discussion questions. Oh, wait, before we move that on to that, if you watched the Hall of Fame, the Stephanie McMahon was pretty good. Uh, the family of Psycho Sid was very disappointed. His son said that there was no merch, no hype up, no nothing about Sid at all at WrestleMania. And yeah, I think it was Stephanie McMahon. AJ Styles had a good ending as well. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the ending of our generation of wrestlers is coming to an end. Because all that there is left, you know, is Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. They're still going at it. So
Yeah,
yes,
you
sir.
figure CM Punk is getting ready to leave.
I believe everybody's leaving at 48 so far because Brock is 48, John Cena is 48, AJ Styles is 48, Punk is 47 now, so I wouldn't doubt that Punk will be retiring
Yeah, and
by the end of this.
I think AJ said she's getting ready to go in like 2 years.
Well, AJ announced her goodbyes on Saturday. She will not be returning.
Well, she said that she might be saying goodbye. She said she said something like, she said she might be coming back, but for now, she's taking time off or something like that, is what I think she said. It was something weird how she worded it, but like somebody asked her, "Oh, are you retiring?" And she's like, "No."
And by the way, it wasn't Psycho Sid. I think it's Sid Vicious is who I meant to say. Sid Vicious. But, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, we're going to hit you with these three discussing questions real quick. Which match or moment from WrestleMania 42 stood out most to you? Oba Femi upset over Brock Lesnar, Page emotional return, the ladder match chaos, or Roman Reigns winning the main event? With so many new champions crowned, who do you think should step up as the first challenger for each new title holder moving forward? Do you think the heavy amount of commercials and sponsor integration hurt the overall experience of WrestleMania 42, or do you believe it's simply the reality of production, such as massive event in today's entertainment? Let us know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, because we answered already some of these already. We don't even need to answer them again. But let us know in the comment. We really like you to start engaging in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. We're here. We don't judge. We don't discriminate. So yeah, take just a few moments and check us out. And make sure, if you haven't yet, to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for all notifications when we go live. And yeah. We're also on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Yeah. Soon enough, we're trying to make an email dedicated to you guys, so you guys can send us anything, questions, videos, pictures, whatever. We're here for it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for tonight's episode of Unbound. Tonight we laid it out. We laid out a world where multiple major stories aren't just happening side by side. They're actively colliding, shaping one another in real time across politics, economics, justice, science, and culture. We started with the Iran War Daily Chronicle, where escalating tensions and unstable diplomacy continue to rise. Concerns about regional conflict expanding into broader global consequences. That situation feeds directly into the next major pressure point: global oil markets, where prices remain elevated and volatile as geopolitical risk around key shipping routes continue to drive uncertainty through inflation, supply chains, and energy security worldwide. We also followed major developments in the United States, including the D4VD murder case involving Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a high-profile legal situation that continues to unfold and raise questions about evidence and accountability, and how celebrity status intersects with serious criminal allegations in the public sphere. From there, we moved into two deeply serious public safety incidents that have sparked national attention. Actually, it was three that we did. We did the Walmart shooting in Omaha involving an alleged attempted child abduction and police use force, in the Oklahoma high school incident, and where the principal intervention during an active attack has been credited with helping prevent further loss of life despite sustaining a gunshot wound himself. And we touched about the Louisiana shooting, that the father that killed his own children and these two other women's children as well. These cases are now under ongoing investigation as authorities review timelines, respond decisions, and overall emergency handling. On the policy and science side, we examined the growing debate around ibogaine, the psychedelic compound now fast-tracked under federal executive order focused on addiction, PTSD, and traumatic brain injury. What was once an underground experimental treatment is now at the center of a national conversation about medical risk, scientific uncertainty, and the possibility of a new approach to mental health care. And finally, we closed with a global entertainment stage through WrestleMania 42, where championship changes, surprise returns, and major main event movements delivered a massive spectacle in Las Vegas, while also drawing criticism over the increased presence of commercial influence inside one of the biggest cultural events of the year. From global conflict to courtroom cases, from public crises to experimental medicine, and from real world tragedy to global entertainment, tonight's episode is another snapshot of a world that is moving fast, interconnected, and constantly under pressure. And before we go, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we want to take a moment to zoom out, because all of these stories in different ways reflect pressures, uncertainty, and change happening across the world at the same time. If you or someone you know is struggling with stress, anxiety, or feeling overwhelmed, support is always available. In the United States, you can call the 988 to overwhelmed. Oh my God, to overwhelmed support is available. In the United States, you can call or text 988. Whoa. Why did you guys repeat this again? Now you're making me look bad here. Wow. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This docket team today, they made me look bad. Okay. To reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, all right? Make sure to call the 988. Trained counselors are always available 24/7. If you're experiencing domestic violence or need help, you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. The confidential support and resources. You are not alone, ladies and gentlemen. In reaching out is always a sign of strength, not weakness. And as always, we'll continue tracking every one of these stories that as they develop, that we went through today. I'm Jey Morales. This is Unbound. And we'll see you next time. And for now, we'll pass it to Revelation to say his goodbyes and send us on our way.
Thank you all for, joining us and listening to what we have to say. And we hope you, enjoyed the show. And I am going to leave you with the quote today. The quote is, "You are bonita." Anyways, we're going to play you out.
420.
Hell yeah. We'll catch you Friday. Oh my God, what Friday? Friday the 24th, baby. If not Friday the 24th, we'll see you Monday the 27th. We're leaving you with a new song for 420. Stay safe out there.
Now, hold it up, light it now. We hit the mic, now the night feels slow. Smoke in the air, let the good talk flow. From loose ideas to the truths we found, we let it all out on Unbound. Say keep it light, let the moment breeze. Revelation night like you just believe. From first small spark to the last breakdown, we turn it up, then we cooled it down. We taught the real, we kept the sound, turn all that noise to rhythm now. If you stayed with us through every round, you felt that truth when it came around. Yeah. Late night haze, let the worries fade. Laughter in the room while the baseline played. From heavy thoughts to jokes in the air, we kept it honest, kept it right there. Slow burn stories drifting wide. us, just enjoy the ride. If they got wild, we brought it down. That's how we move when we unbound. Jey Morales unbound. We've been floating minds around through the deep stories and the laughs out loud. Jey Morales unbound. Oh, where the real ones are get found. You can't stop that sound when the truth comes around. Yeah.
It's almost 420, bro.
From the couch to the night ride, they made a way, staying by your side. Every question, every sound, we lived it out unbound. From the smoke to the dreamline, we let you right there. Every time what we shared, what we found, still echoes now. Unbound. Oh, Jey Morales unbound. Jey Morales unbound. Yeah. You can't stop that sound. You can't stop that sound. Ooh, it's getting loud. I'm out.
I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop. And the